Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss about Wheatstone's bridge from module 4. So as you can see here on this side, this is the normal arrangement of how Wheatstone's bridge will be set up. Normally, Wheatstone's bridge will be used to measure unknown resistances. Okay, like resistance of some component or resistance of some wire you want to find out. Okay, or if you have a component whose resistance you don't know, then you can connect that in this bridge. Okay, and you may be able to find out. Okay, normally this R1, then R2, then R3 will be something that you know. Okay, or the value of this resistance will be known. R1, R2 and R3. One, this R4 which is there, that may be unknown. Okay, so what is necessity here is you have to have three resistances whose value you know. Then you require a DC power supply. Okay, and then you require a galvanometer. Now galvanometer is here, it is a microamp meter. Okay, this galvanometer will be sensitive to current. That means okay, it will be like a galvanometer will be something like this. It will have scale like this. Okay, scale 1 to something. Okay, readings. Okay, and this will be zero reading. Okay, which is there in the center, and then there is a pointer here. Now if your current is flowing from, let us say, you can see here there is a D point and here there is a C point, right? So if your current is flowing from, let us say, from C to D, okay, if your current is flowing from C to D, then your indicator will indicate here. Okay, it will shift to the right side. If your current is flowing from D to C, if your current is flowing from D to C, then your indicator will show indication in the other side. Okay, you can say left side. Okay, so this is how this galvanometer will be set up. Now normally what happens, okay, normally what happens, you have to adjust one of these resistances, like this R2 or something will be variable. Okay, this R2 or some other resistance R3 will be variable, or you can change that resistance. And by changing the resistance, okay, you have to get a balance equation. Or what you have to do is, the current that is flowing through this galvanometer, let us say if it is Ig, you have to make it 0. Once you make it 0, okay, once you make it 0, what you will have is a balance condition. Okay, what you will have is a balance condition, and then you can find out what is the value of this R4. Okay, remember this R1, R2 and R3 will be known. You will know the value of R1, R2, R3. This R4 will be unknown. Okay, so what you have to do, you may have to adjust this R3 or you may have to adjust this R2 to get zero current through this galvanometer. The moment you get zero current through this galvanometer, okay, what you can get is, you can get this R4. Okay, there is an equation for that. Okay, you will directly get R4 just by knowing what is the value of R2, R1 and R3. So just try to understand. Now one more point, if your current through the galvanometer, if the current okay, if the current through this galvanometer is 0, okay, then what it indicates, that the potential difference at this point and the potential at this point is same. Okay, the potential at this C point and the potential at this D point is same. That is the reason the current through this galvanometer is 0. Okay, try to understand. So this is a thing you have to understand. Then here what is written, okay, this is just a description of this. Okay, then next we have to find out what is the condition for balance. Okay, just now we have seen you may have to adjust R2, you may have to adjust R3, and by adjusting, okay, what will happen, the current through this galvanometer will become 0, and that is the balanced bridge. And once you get the balanced bridge, you can find out the unknown resistance. Okay, so let us say my bridge is balanced. Okay, I have adjusted my value of R2, I have adjusted my value of R3, and my bridge is balanced. Okay, so what it indicates is that the value here, or the voltage at C point and the voltage at D point is same. So there is no current. Hmm? So by understanding this, what we will do, we will try to find out equation. First thing what I will do is I will apply KVL equation in this loop. Okay, let us say this is loop 1. Okay, so I2 is flowing like this. Okay, and let us say this is plus and minus. So the voltage across this resistance is what? I2 into R2. Okay, voltage across this R2 resistance is I2 into R2. Then you have I1 here that is flowing through R1. So if it is flowing like this, you will get this. Okay, voltage here will be I1 into R1. Okay, then the galvanometer voltage. Now since the point C and point D are at same potential, the potential across this galvanometer will be 0. Okay, why? Because C is at same potential. It is like, it is voltage here is X, here also voltage is X, so it is X minus X is 0. Okay, so the voltage across this galvanometer, okay, when the bridge is balanced, okay, when the bridge is balanced is 0. Okay, now if you apply KVL, what you will get is you have to follow this arrow. Okay, you will have to follow this arrow, okay, which is there. So I2, if you see, it is with the direction of this arrow, okay, like this. So it is I2 R2, then there is a 0, then this I1 R1 is in opposition with the arrow. Okay, so what equation you will get? Okay, what equation you will get is you will get I2 R2, okay, then 0, then again I1 R1 equal to 0. Okay, the first term is voltage across R2, the second term is voltage across galvanometer, third term is voltage across R1. Why we have taken minus I1 R1 is because the direction of our arrow and the direction in which I1 is flowing is opposite. So if you equate this, what you will get is this equation. Okay, you will get I1 R1. Okay, you will get I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2. Okay, I hope you can understand. Next, what you have to do, since our bridge is balanced and there is no current through galvanometer, okay, the current which flows here I1, okay, the current which flows here I1 is the same current that is going to flow through this R3, or you can say the current I1 is equal to current I3 since my bridge is balanced. Same way, my current I2 will flow like this, and the same current is going to flow through R4, which is I4. Okay, why? Because zero current flows through this galvanometer. Now what is the magnitude of this current? Okay, what is the magnitude of this current? Okay, you can find out like this. The I1 and I3 are flowing through these two resistances. Okay, okay, so there is two resistances like this. Okay, like this is I1 R1, this is I3 R3, and that is connected across a battery. Okay, that is value of E, right? So if you just apply like R1 and R3 is the resistance, okay, and current is same, I1 is equal to I3. Why? Because there is no galvanometer current. So what you will get is E by R1 plus R3. Okay, like you have to apply Ohm's law. If you apply Ohm's law, you will get this. Okay, So I is equal to V by R. So it is E upon R1 plus R3, this equation. Okay, next you have same thing follows for I2 and I4. Now what we will do, the value of I1, which is E by R1 plus R3, we will substitute here. Same way the value of I2, which is E by R2 plus R4, we will substitute here. So once we substitute, you will get something like this. This is I, or you can say I1 into R1 equal to, this is I2 into R2. So you just cross multiply, you take this here, take this here, E will cancel, right? If you just have this part, then multiply again. Then after multiplication, what happens? You can see here R1, R2, R1, R2 is common. So you may eliminate that. What is normally done is that your R4 is unknown. So you have to find out the equation with respect to R4. So your R4 is equal to here R3, R2, okay, this one, divide by R1. Okay, so once your bridge becomes balanced, okay, once your bridge becomes balanced means there is no current through galvanometer. What you can do, you can use this equation to get the value of R4. Okay, to get the value of R4. Okay, next is what is the sensitivity of the Wheatstone's bridge? Okay, when the bridge is unbalanced, the current flows through the galvanometer, causing a deflection of its pointer. The amount of deflection is a function of sensitivity of the galvanometer. Okay, so by how much it is going to deflect, whether on left side or on right side, okay, that is dependent on sensitivity of the galvanometer. Now, sensitivity can be thought of as a deflection per current, or you can say deflection per unit current. A more sensitive galvanometer deflects by a greater amount for the same current. Okay, so how much it is going to deflect, that is dependent on sensitivity. If it is more sensitive, then the deflection will be more. The next is deflection may be expressed in linear or angular units of measure, and sensitivity can be expressed in the unit of millimeter per microampere, degree per microampere, or radians per microampere. Okay, therefore it follows that the total deflection D is S into I. Okay, where S is the sensitivity and I is the current. Okay, which would be in microamperes. Then previously what we have studied or what we have seen now is balanced Wheatstone's bridge. By chance, if you are having a unbalanced Wheatstone's bridge, okay, how do you find out the current? Okay, how you have to find out the current? So what we are now going to assume is the voltage at this point and the voltage at this point is different. Okay, the voltage at this point and the voltage at this point is different. We will name these points as A. Okay, this point is named as A and this point is named as B. What we are going to do is we are going to find out the Thevenin equivalent, okay, across point A and B. Okay, we have to apply Thevenin's theorem, okay, and find out what is the equivalent voltage, Thevenin equivalent voltage and Thevenin equivalent resistance across point A and B. Okay, so first, what is the voltage here at point A? Okay, what is the voltage at point A? That is given by E into R3 divided by R1 plus R3. Okay, that is using voltage divider rule. Same way, the voltage at B will be E into R4 divided by R2 plus R4. Okay, it is something like this. If you want to draw, okay, it is like you have here the circuit. Okay, this is your E, this is your R1 and this is your R3, and this point which is there in the middle, that is my E value. What I want is EA. or EA is the voltage across R3. Okay, assuming that this is grounded. Now that is my reference. So what EA or ER3 is same. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to find out the voltage across R3, and that is your EA. Okay, that is given by this E into R3 divided by EA plus sorry, E divided by R3 divided by R1 plus R3. Okay, this equation. Similarly, you can do that for EB. Okay, now the Thevenin voltage across A and B, okay, you can find out by subtracting EA minus EB. Okay, so if you subtract EA minus EB, then you will get these equations. Here what happens, E is common, so take that out, and then you will get R3 by R1 plus R3 minus R4 divided by R2 plus R4. This is the equation. Then previously you have seen Thevenin voltage. Next we will see Thevenin resistance. So for calculating Thevenin resistance, okay, all sources have to be made 0. So the voltage source here will be made 0. Okay, and then you have to calculate the resistance which you see across point A and B. Okay, so you can simplify that. So this will be made 0. Okay, so if you just take this out, like A I will write like this. Okay, take this out, then you will have resistance here, then you have resistance here, then you have resistance here, sorry, then you have one resistance here, and this is my point B. Now if you see here and here, okay, same points are, this is here and here. Okay, now this voltage source I have made 0, that means it will act as a short. Okay, it will act as a short, so there is a short here, okay, between these 2 points because of that voltage source. Because of that voltage source, same circuit is given here. This RS which is shown here, okay, it is the resistance of your E, or you can say voltage source, and that is 0, assumed to be 0. So what you can see here is your R1 is in parallel with R3, okay, and that is this equation, first equation, and your R2 is in parallel with R4, and that is this second equation. Okay, and both the parallel combinations are in series, so they are added. Okay, so this is the Thevenin resistance. Okay, now next is what we have to do is we have to connect a galvanometer here. Okay, galvanometer G. So this is equivalent circuit, you can say Thevenin equivalent circuit across A and B, point A and B. Now if you want to find out what is the current, you have to connect the galvanometer. Okay, and the current through the galvanometer, okay, let us say if it is Ig, the current through the galvanometer will be given by ETH divided by RTH plus RG, where RG is the galvanometer resistance. Okay, RG here you can see. So you have to add these two resistances, and that is, you can say ETH by that resistance value will give you the Ig value. Next is slightly unbalanced resistance bridge. Okay, so we have already found out the general equation for unbalanced bridge. Okay, value of ETH and RTH. Okay, now if your bridge is slightly unbalanced means you can see here in the diagram all the branches. Okay, all the branches have resistance R, R, R. Here only there is a slight mismatch of R plus delta R. So what you have to do, you have to take the equation, general equation, substitute the value. Okay, you can say simplify. Here you will get the voltage EAB between A and B is this one. It is having minus delta R. Okay, what this minus delta R indicates is that the value of A is smaller than value of B, or the voltage at point A is smaller than voltage at point B. So if you take EBA, okay, if you take EBA, then it becomes positive. Okay, what it indicates that the voltage at point B is greater than voltage at point A. Okay, voltage at point B is greater than voltage at point A. Or you can say ETH is this one. The voltage difference between this is this, E equal to my delta R divided by 4R plus 2 delta R. Okay, now this delta R is very small. It will be very small. Same way you can find out the resistance. Okay, same way you can find out the resistance using this equation. So you will get R square plus R plus delta R divided by 2R plus delta R. Okay, this is added with R by 2. Okay, just substitute the equation. Okay, the RTH general equation which you have, in that you have to substitute the value of R. Okay, everywhere R, and wherever is R4 you have to substitute R plus delta R. Then next is application of Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, now a Wheatstone's bridge may be used to measure the DC resistance of various types of wires, either for purpose of quality control of wire itself or for some assembly in which it is used. For example, the resistance of motor windings, transformers, solenoids, and relay coils can be measured. Wheatstone's bridge is also used extensively by telephone companies and others to locate cable faults. The faults may be two lines shorted together or a single line shorted to ground. Okay, so these 3 points you have to remember. The next is, what is the limitations of Wheatstone's bridge? The first limitation is that if you are trying to measure low resistance, okay, low resistance like resistance of leads or contacts, okay, then it becomes erroneous, okay, because the resistance which you are measuring, okay, has the same value as your contact, okay, and that may become that will introduce error. Same way, it cannot measure a very high resistance. Okay, it cannot measure very high resistance. Okay, if you want to measure high resistance, then you have to use what is called as a DC VTVM. Okay, instead of that battery E which is there, you have to use a VTVM. Okay, and you have to use a galvanometer. Okay, instead of using this battery, you have to use a power supply. Okay, instead of using a battery, you have to use a power supply, and instead of using galvanometer, you have to use a DC VTVM. Okay, then in case of high resistance measurements in mega ohms, the Wheatstone's bridge cannot be used. Okay, same this point. Another difficulty in Wheatstone's bridge is the change in the resistance of the bridge arms due to the heating effect of current through the resistance. Okay, because these resistances are small, okay, it can happen is that if you heat it, or if there is a heating element involved, then the resistance of the bridge may change permanently. Okay, and that can cause a permanent change. You can see here. Okay, the rise in temperature causes a change in the value of the resistance, and the excessive current may cause a permanent change in the value. So these points you have to remember. What you have to understand here is, it cannot measure very low resistance, it cannot measure very high resistance. Okay, if you want to measure high resistance, then the power supply will be used instead of battery, and a DC VTVM will be used instead of a galvanometer. Okay, then if we are having a heating element, then it can cause a permanent change in the resistance value. These points you remember.